part, when you go to Chi-Town, you're gonna be around Jake, and you're gonna be on the south side, which it be all Jake, and you don't be seeing white people walking around in the south side. They'll get fucked up. Them Jakes in Chicago, they ain't like these Jakes in New York. You New York niggas, you got white people all up, walking all up through Harlem, and white people walking all up freely.
And that's why the Mossad made it where this guy got shot. The Mossad did that, man.
Yeah, that's right, man.
And even that guy Zimmerman said that. He said that was the will of God.
That's right.
Which he was right.
He was right.
He didn't even know what he was saying, man.
Yeah.
Basically, the Mossad sacrificed Trayvon Martin to make this thing get stirred on up.
That's right, man.
Because Jake was watching that on TV, man, especially them Jakes down in Florida. All right, because they have them Jakes in Florida. They got a connection to Trayvon Martin because he's from Florida, man.
That's right.
All right.
Yeah.
But you can clearly see that they proved that without a reason of a doubt that this guy shot him, man. That he wanted to shoot him. Because on that tape, when he was talking to the police and all that, the police said to stay in the car. And then he said the one thing he said was, he said this guy looks suspicious. Oh, they had a record of all the calls that he made, and he always called on Jake. Anytime he seen a Jake or a nigga out there, he called the police. They were always suspicious. And there's this guy walking down the street. He looks suspicious. He looks like he's on drugs. He looks like he's about to do something. Then when the cops come, the guy says, I live right over here. Then the next day he'll call. So he was like an asshole. So they knew it. They said, here's fucking Zimmerman again. You know? Oh, it looks like there's a black guy. He's wearing a hoodie. He looks like he got a gun on him. All right? Now, when he saw Trayvon, he said the same thing. He said, there's a suspicious looking black guy. I've never seen him before. He looks like he's ready to break into this house here. He looks like he's on drugs or something. And then he's on the phone with the cops, and the cops said, look, stay in your vehicle, man. All right? Now, the reason why he said he got out the vehicle was to see what street he was walking down, which he said he lived in that community, man. And how in the fuck don't you know what street in your neighborhood watch?
That's right.
All right? You know the damn streets, man. Then he said that Trayvon Martin hid under the bushes and jumped out and said, I'm going to kill you, homie. There ain't no young kids even use the word homie, man. All right, so then it was caught on tape where he called him a fucking coon, but they said we don't know him. I think he said fucking coon. He said fucking coon. Then he said he called him an asshole. Then he called him something else. He called him a fucking punk.
Yeah.
He called him a fucking punk. He said I'm tired of these young punks. So he had a motive to start that shit. So they're trying to say that this guy was protecting himself. Then they said that Trayvon threw him down and grounded and pounded him like in the UFC. So when they checked this guy's wounds, they said, well, look, he looked like he got punched in the face one time. This guy, Zimmerman, said he was grounded and pounded, meaning he was hit for about 15 times. And he said that the guy bashed his head in a bunch of times into the concrete. But they said, no, that's consistent with, the examiner said, that's consistent with one shot. You could have hit your head on something.
Yeah.
It's not consistent with getting pounded over and over again.
That's
all
right.
right?
That's right.
Or getting hit 15, 20 times.
That's right, man.
And then he said he didn't even know he had a gun. Motherfucker, if you got a fucking gun on your side, you know you got a fucking gun, man. When you get up in the morning, you put on all your clothes, all right? And then you put your sidearm on, right? And you know that's on you, and you feel that weight on your side, man.
Vibration tells you.
And the vibration tells you that, man.
Yeah.
Then he said, man, man, this guy is guilty of fucking sin, man.
Absolutely.
But they may just find him not guilty. And if that happens, and Esau already knows behind the scenes that if there's a not guilty plea, there's going to be another fucking LA riots in Florida, man.
That's right, baby. That's
all right? So that can spark that thing up. See, the Most High spark, putting out sparks, man. See, one spark, if a spark touch you, it ain't gonna do nothing. You flick it off you, right? But one spark hit the right thing at the right time, and nobody's watching, that can turn into a small fire. That fire can turn into a flame. That flame can turn into a big fire, man. that can turn into a blaze. And when you hit that blaze, it's hard to control or stop that blaze of fire.
Party on.
So that was a spark, man. It's gonna be tense on the day of not sentencing, on the day of whether he's found guilty or not guilty. Everybody gonna be watching that shit, man. It's gonna be breaking news. Just like with OJ, right?
Yeah.
Me and this brother was working together doing a delivery down there in Greenwich Village.
Yeah.
We were doing a delivery down there, and it was about 12 noon, and everybody had their radios on,
quiet.
and everybody stopped, and they were listening to the radio. What was the verdict of this guy, O.J. Simpson? And we had went into a liquor store, because I think the delivery was in a liquor store, and there was this East Indian guy in there, and he was like hoping that O.J. got off. And then they said the verdict is O.J. is not guilty. You saw black people face go up like you saw crackers go like that.
That's right.
So there was a difference, man. Then they showed all around the country. They showed the cops waiting there. And the verdict is not guilty. The cops like, the white cops like, the J cops was all happy, man.
That's right.
So that could have caused a riot, man.
That's right, man.
Okay? And they still talk about that case today. They compare that case to this damn case. So guess what? When they have that fucking verdict, man, if you're driving, you're going to have News 1010 Wins or whatever news station you got, whatever state that you live at. If you home, you're going to have it on one of them news stations, and everybody's going to be tense. They're going to be waiting. Let's see what's going to happen.
That's right.
Or what? And then we find a defendant. What's his name? Zimmerman. Not guilty of what, nigga? Start to get that shit popping, man. Now, if nothing happens, that means them niggas down there in Florida are weak ass niggas. But them niggas are known for. I used to live in Florida.
I'm from
man.
Florida.
I've been down in Florida, man. I had relatives down in Florida. They all leave. They tired of Florida. They coming back up to the north. All right. But basically, a lot of them hate fucking crackers, man.
That's why I went to school down there.
So you know what, man? That might spark shit off. It might cause a race riot, and then it might turn out being a race riots all around this country, man. Cause them jakes down there in LA, man, they looking to start a race riot, man. Them jakes down there in Chi-Town, I don't know about you niggas in New York, man.
New York town.
All right.
In Connecticut and New York.
Yeah, used to New York.
Y'all used to have that, that fire in you. You ain't got that fire, man.
Yeah, that was in the 70s, man.
Back in the 70s, man, they lost that fire, man. Drugs did that.
Yeah, that's right.
Slow your ass down, man.
That's right.
So all we got to do is wait until the verdict, man.
Yeah.
Okay? And that verdict, based upon that verdict, man, the cracker might get his head fucking chopped off, man. You see what's happening over there in Egypt, right?
Yeah.
They're going crazy over there in Egypt, man. They're killing over there in Turkey, over there in Syria, over there in Brazil. Eventually it's going to come up here, man. All the most I need is that right spark, man. All right, give me Micah 5.
Micah 5 and 7. And the remnant of Jacob.
Read that.
Yeah, this is an article I found. It's called Pat Buchanan
Which is a racist cracker.
Yep. Warns of race riots if George Zimmerman is acquitted. It says in an editorial published Tuesday, former MSNBC contributor Pat Buchanan warns of the possibility of racially charged violence if George Zimmerman is acquitted in the murder trial of Trayvon Martin. Buchanan links the possibility of Zimmerman's acquittal to the 1992 trial of several LA police officers who were cleared of charges in the beating of Rodney King that provoked a week of widespread violence. So that's pretty much it. It says here, I'll just read that part. It says in his May 22nd editorial, "What if Zimmerman walks free?" Buchanan cites a number of commentators and leaders who have exacerbated the racial tensions surrounding the Martin murder trial. We are, this is some of the commentaries or comments made. Blacks are under attack, railed Jesse Jackson. Killing us is big business. Republican Maxine Waters' charge of hate crime was echoed by radio talker Joe Madison. Republican Hank Johnson said Trayvon has been executed. The Griot compared his killing to the lynching of Emmett Till in Mississippi in 1955.
So like I said, man, don't be surprised if there's a major race riot down there in Florida, and it don't be surprised if it's spread throughout the country, man. Because everybody done woken up to the fact that this white man's a damn devil. All right, this white man have deceived you, man. And we haven't seen Barack Hussein Obama like he used to, out there like he used to be, man. He ain't showing his face too much because they looking to lynch his ass, man. The white man is hella mad that this guy's in office, that a monkey. When he first got in office, they called him Curious George. All right? So they're mad at the fact that Curious George is in office, a nigga's in office, and they're mad at the fact that they're going to force you to accept this Obamacare, all right? And if you don't have to accept it, but you got to pay a fine at the end of the year. Because they said that they hired 16,000 new tax agents. And they're going to come knock on your door to see if you got that shit, man. So you think that's not going to stir up something, man? We in a fucking recession since 2007. You think this shit ain't going to get stirred up, man, and riled up, man?
They got a movie coming out, Oscar Grant story.
Oh, right. It's called, what's it called? Fruitvale Station. Which this was a situation maybe like 5 years ago, and it was all on YouTube. Where they took this guy and he didn't do nothing, and they had this guy on his back handcuffed, and a cop shot him in the back and killed him. But the cop said, "Oh, I thought that was my taser. I didn't realize it was my gun." And they basically let this motherfucker off, man. And that happens a lot out there in Cali, man. So I'm gonna see that movie.
July 12th.
Now the guy that made that movie was a Jake. I think he was a social worker. He didn't know nothing about making movies or nothing. And when he saw all that in the news, he said, "I'm gonna make a movie," and he was gonna make it as a documentary. But somehow they got to him and said, "Why don't you make an actual movie?" And they had certain veteran filmmakers show him how to film and all that. So he made that into an actual movie, man. And that's another thing that's gonna spark Jake to fuck these damn crackers up, man. So everything's coming into play, man. Now, we started back doing the road show again, and basically the title of the road show was Black People Shall Be Willing in the Day of Black Power.
Yeah.
Because we referred back to, we were talking about the situation up there when we had the website, and there were certain jakes that were going to the website, and they wasn't going on it like they supposed to go on it. But on the day of the World Trade Center falling, they flooded that website, man. So when all these jakes out here that you see, these actors, these comedians and shit, these singers, these athletes, average jakes that you see walking down the street, man, this happened to me a bunch of times, man. I'm walking down the street and say, "You guy, you the YouTube guy." That happened to me a bunch of times, man. Even crackers came up to me and said, "I saw you on YouTube, man. You call a white man a devil."
That's right.
And just a matter, I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
Everybody got a double.
Right.
You know me, I wouldn't call a white man. No, I'm playing this damn cracker, man. So these people are seeing us, man. Now Jake is seeing us. Everybody's on YouTube, man. Who don't go on YouTube, man? Who don't got a damn computer, man? Huh? You can get a damn desktop for like $300, man. You can go to the fucking rent center and pay $20 a month for the next 17 years, but you got yourself a computer, right? You got everybody got a smartphone. You tell me you ain't watching YouTube and Facebook and all that, man? And these different